It's nice to see you again after a long time through this seventh video of Learn Logistics. I'm sorry for the delay due to my laptop problem. I had to keep quiet for some time because I ordered for a fresh laptop and got a new one. Then I started again. Yes, I mentioned you can see this video apart from YouTube. You can see through my site also www.arilogisticsacademy.com, and you are welcome to send your comments and suggestions in the above email ID logisticsari2020 at gmail.com, and I request you to subscribe so that you will get regular notification on future videos. Now on transport, we were we have seen road transport, rail transport, air. Now we see the waterways. Water transport in India, of course, is not in a big way, but it is a developing. Otherwise, in European countries and other American and other continents, it is in a big way. So, water transport in India has played a significant role in the country's economy and is indispensable to foreign trade. India is endowed with an extensive network of waterways in the form of rivers, canals, backwaters, creeks, and a long coastline accessible through the seas and oceans. It has the largest carrying capacity of any form of transport and is most suitable for carrying bulky goods over long distances. It is one of the most cheap modes of transport in India, as it takes advantage of natural track and does not require huge capital investment in construction and maintenance except in the case of canals. Its fuel efficiency contributes to lower operating costs and reduced environmental impact due to carbon. India has 14,500 kilometers of inland waterways, out of which only 5,685 kilometers are navigable by mechanized vessels. Because in India also we use waterways mostly for international trade. For domestic trade we use very less. Water transport in India is one of the cheapest modes of transportation. One, there are six national waterways set up by Inland Waterways Authority of India in 1986. Two, six national waterways NW1, Allahabad Hooghly along Ganga River, NW2, Sadhya Dubri along Brahmaputra River, NW3 is Kottapuram and Kollam in Kerala, NW4 Bhadrachalam to Rajamundry and Wazirabad to Vijayawada along Godavari and Krishna rivers, NW5 Mangalagari to Paradip and Talchar to Dharmara along Mohanadi and Brahmanai river, NW6 Lakipur to Banga along the Brak river. 3. There are 13 major ports and 187 minor ports. Maritime transport comes under the concurrent list of the Constitution. So, Central Shipping Ministry administer major ports and minor ports are administered by the respective coastal states. You can see in the map what the major ports. What are the major ports? If you see in the eastern sector, it is Haldia, Kolkata, Paradip, Vishakhapatnam. Chennai, Tuticorin are the eastern side of the coast. In western side, if you see Mundra, Kandla, Jamnagar, these are Gujarat ports. Mumbai, Goa, Mangalore, Cochin. These are the western side of the ports. Let us have some idea about the Inland Waterways Authority of India. It came into existence on 27th October 1986 for development and recognition of inland waterways for shipping and navigation. It primarily undertakes projects for development and maintenance of inland water transport infrastructure on national waterways through grants received from the Ministry of Shipping. It is headquartered at Noida with regional offices at Patna in Bihar, Kolkata in West Bengal, Guwahati in Assam, and Kochi in Kerala, and sub offices at other places throughout India. If you see in the maps shown in the right side, you can see that total length of 4,503 kilometers is shown through 15 states where it serves. NW1 Ganga, Haldia to Allahabad or Hooghly. It is 1,620 kilometers. States served are UP, Bihar, Jharkhand, and West Bengal. NW2, where it is in Brahmaputra, it is between Dhubri to Sadia. Sorry. It is 891 kilometers in length. States served are Assam, West Bengal, Arunachal Pradesh, and Meghalaya. NW3 in West Coast Canal, it is between Kollam and Kottapuram in Kerala. It is 205 kilometers and it serves only for Kerala states. NW4, which is in Godavari and Krishna rivers and canals. It is in Kakinada to Puducherry. It is about 1078 kilometers. States served are AP, Tamil Nadu, Union Territory of Puducherry. NW5 is Brahmani Delta canals. It is between Gohan Kali to Talchar. It is about 588 kilometers and it serves Odisha and West Bengal. NW6 is in Barak River. It's between Lakhimpur to Banga and state serves Assam, Mizoram, Manipur, and Tripura. So this is the present where certain things are in development and certain things are in advanced stage, progressed. and already operational. Now, the government of India has started a Sagarmala project. The Sagarmala project seeks to develop a string of ports around India's coast. The objective of this initiative is to promote port-led development along India's 7,500 km long coastline. It aims to develop access to new development regions with intermodal solutions and promotion of the optimum model split, enhanced connectivity with main economic centers and beyond through expansion of rail, inland water, coastal and road services. The nodal ministry is the Union Ministry of Shipping, has been appointed as the nodal ministry for this initiative. To implement this, state governments would set up state Sagarmala committees headed by the chief minister or the minister in charge of ports. At the central level, a Sagarmala development company will be set up to provide equity support to assist various special purpose vehicles set up for the various projects. The right side it shows the where are it going plan to cover and what are the ports, major ports and minor ports, and the route and what are the industrial corridors it's going to serve and freight corridors, then petroleum, chemicals, petrochemicals, etc. The project Sagarmala prime objectives of Project Sagarmala to promote port-led direct and indirect development, to provide infrastructure to transport goods to and from ports quickly, efficiently, and cost effectively. The Sagarmala initiative will address challenges by focusing on three pillars of development, namely supporting and enabling port-led development through appropriate policy and institutional interventions and providing for an institutional framework for ensuring interagency and ministries, stroke departments, stroke states collaboration for integrated development. Port infrastructure enhancement, including modernization and setting up of new ports. Efficient evacuation to and from hinterland. Under Project Sagarmala, Shipping Ministry has formed new committee to set up two major ports for length of 1600 km in eastern coast, that is Sagar in West Bengal and Durgarajapatnam in Andhra Pradesh. An illustrative list of the kind of development projects that could be undertaken in Sagarmala initiative are port-led industrialization, port-based urbanization, port-based and coastal tourism and recreational activities, short sea shipping, coastal shipping, and inland waterways transportation, shipbuilding, ship repair, and ship recycling, logistics parks, warehousing, maritime zones services, integration with interland hubs, offshore storage, drilling platforms, specialization of ports in certain economic activities such as energy, containers, chemicals, coal, agro products, etc. Offshore renewable energy projects with base ports for installations. This shows what are the pillars under which it is developed. So, port-led development is on port modernization. Under port modernization, it will be capacity augmentation, new ports, and efficient improvement. And second is port connectivity, new road rail connectivity, upgradation of roads, stock railways, coastal shipping, inland water transport, logistics parks. I would like to highlight one of the points, which is a latest development where last week Mr. Nitin Gadkari has announced in Chennai, between Chennai port, they want to build up a two-layer flyovers from Chennai port to Sriperumbudur. So for about 30, 45 to 50 kilometers, it will be a two-layer bridge. So under state government and participation, and the project cost is approximately 5,000 crores, where the state government has to still have to give their concurrence. Then port-led industrialization, industrial clusters, coastal employment jobs, maritime clusters, smart industrial port cities, port-based special economic zones. Then coastal community development, skill development, coastal tourism projects, development of fishing harbors, fish processing centers. In conclusion, on the waterways transport, I would like to say one, shipping by water has been practiced for thousands of years and remains pivotal to today's global trade. 90% of all international trade is accomplished through maritime transportation. Cargo ships travel on almost every major body of water and have capacity to transport the highest volume of freight of any mode of transportation at the lowest cost. Two, the routes available to container ships are calculated and strictly followed. Many routes used today have been used for centuries. However, new routes are still being sought out and tested for optimal supply chain efficiency. In this, I would like to highlight that earlier from Russia, we used to bring the oil through a long route of covering Europe and other countries, Africa, etc. But now we have developed a new route which will through South Sea China and the Asian region, and it will come to the Chennai port instead of Bombay port earlier. So this is how the new routes are being developed with other countries. Three, the greatest disadvantage of maritime cargo ships is the speed at which they operate. By far, maritime is the slowest mode of transportation. As of January 2017, there were 52,183 cargo ships in service. So, at any given time, there can be thousands of ships at sea. Additionally, the carbon emissions produced by one cargo ship is very high. Of course, today's environment, the new ships are built up with pollution-free methods. There is a continued effort to reduce ocean emissions with the technological support. That's happening. Uh, the latest last 10 years or so, they are reducing the carbons. The closest alternative to maritime shipping is air shipping. However, due to current technological setbacks and high cost, the air will not be taking over maritime for international shipping anytime soon. Thank you, friends. As I already mentioned, your comments are welcome and the above email ID logisticsari 2020@gmail.com. Hope you will benefit from this. We look forward for more interactions in future. Kindly subscribe this YouTube channel to enable us to inform our future videos. Thank you once again.